Hi everyone, I'm Rick Beato. On today's Everything Music, we have What Makes This Song Great, Episode 6. Today's band we're going to be discussing is Linkin Park, and the song is Numb off their 2003 release, Meteora. Let's get started. So a lot of people ask me why I like Linkin Park. One of the reasons that I liked the band was Chester Bennington's voice. I always thought he had an incredibly great sounding voice. Had a lot of intensity and passion to it. I also loved the way the records sounded. Now, a lot of that was Don Gilmore, the producer, and the band, and kind of their unique blend of how they used electronics, DJ sounds, things like that. Also the guitar and bass tones and the mixing of the record. The mixing of the record, this record in particular, Meteora, is a very hi-fi sounding record. And it was mixed by Andy Wallace, who is a really famous mixer. He mixed Nirvana Nevermind. He mixed the first two Rage Against the Machine records. He mixed bands like System of a Down. He mixed Avenged Sevenfold. He mixed Linkin Park's first two records. He has a very unique mixing style, and I want to point out some of the production things in this particular song that I think really make them great. It's production choices that the band and the producer made, and also the mixing choices that he made. So let's check it out. So the song begins with this keyboard part. You have that big 808 sounding kick drum too. And then we're in with the guitars. Now you'll notice the guitars come in with a swell. Now swells are very commonly used in all types of music. If you're listening to Max Martin tracks, if you're listening to bands like Linkin Park, swells are used all over the place to introduce sections. Here it happens to be stereo feedback guitar. And then in with the heavy guitars. Sometimes those are combined with other sounds, like here. Listen to it. And the keyboard floats on top of that. It has a sound to it that you have a really kind of distorted pad and single note piano-ish line. That distortion really blends nicely with the distorted guitars, and it makes it sound like a... Another thing you'll notice in this song, and with a lot of Linkin Park songs, is that the guitars and bass play very static chords. This is, once again, it's one of these 6-4-1-5 songs. This is before it got totally burned out. When I mean static, though, between the bass and the guitars, listen what they're playing. Here's the bass. Just whole notes. Now, one thing you'll notice about the bass is that it has a chorused sound on it. This is something that Andy Wallace used. It's Program 15 on an SPX 90. That's kind of a characteristic of his bass sound. He uses that sound. SPX 90 is an old effects processor from the 80s, but it has a program called Symphonic that gives it this kind of wide, moving sound. And it's just held notes, right? There's no restriking of the chords or of the bass. The drums, which are electronic at this point, so that's a program part in there. And because the guitars and bass are static, just playing diamonds, as we call them, or whole notes, it makes it really clean so that the drums can speak. If the guitars are playing dun, 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 it would really smear it up if the guitars and bass were playing along with that. So they just play these whole notes, and it leaves space for the mix. And then we're into the verse.
I'm tired of being what you want me to be. Feeling so faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're
Great vocal
expecting
performance.
of me, but under the pressure of walking in.
Now, essentially, this keyboard part, the piano with the pad behind,
Acting of me, but
now there's also the drums in there
me to be,
with the bass.
me to be. Feeling so faithless,
But here's just it.
lost under the surface.
That's the bass keys
Don't
and
know
vocal.
what you're expecting of me, but under the
Now, one thing I want to mention that happens in the pre-chorus that I forgot to talk about was the little picking guitar part that comes in. Now you have this DJ sound here, the scratch sound with echo. The fading delay, and you have that really fast 16th note hi-hat there. Then again. And then we have another part to go along. We have, once again, we have the feedback guitars that lead in, but we also mixed with them has this keyboard. Really fast swell. And when it cuts off, when the envelope opens up and then immediately or abruptly stops, then it gives the chorus a lot of impact. That's why a lot of people will use something like a backwards piano that will lead in and then stop abruptly on the downbeat of the chorus. It gives it a lot of excitement. Every producer uses these things too. It's really common. It sucks you into the chorus. That's a production technique that's really common and very effective. When the vocals enter in the chorus,
I've become so numb.
So it's all perfect fourths in the harmonies. So listen.
I've become so numb. I can't feel you there.
Then you have octaves there.
So much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do.
What you can hear that's really great with Chester's, you hear this, I like to call it sideband distortion. It sounds like a guitar amp with a lot of gain on it. You hear that. It's hard to even do that part of it.
I've become so numb. I can't feel
So
you
there's a clean
there.
vocal.
Become so tired. So much more.
The harmonies are sung cleanly, but the lead vocal has a lot of intensity to it, a lot of distortion on it, and that really gives him his particular sound. When you put that in with the guitars, it sounds kind of like
I've become so numb.
It helps it
I can't
cut.
feel you there. Become so tired.
In the choruses, we have this pulsating keyboard. Listen. It has like a square wavy sound with a dreamy pad with a little bell. And that pad there really blends nicely with the guitars. This is what that Linkin Park sound is. It's that blend of keyboards and heavy guitars. Once again, the bass and guitars. Let's talk about the bridge. So the bridge starts on the first fret, D, which is because the guitar is tuned to a drop D, but down another half step, so it'd be drop C sharp. So it goes from the, which would be the, then bridge starts there. It doesn't walk up. So very simple. So it goes. Da, 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 da. And the second time through the bridge, it does the walk up. Then it goes to E, then it goes to the 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the walk. And then the held chord. And then into the chorus. And then it rides out the chorus, and here's the ending out chorus part. Brings back in this keyboard part from the intro, which is really a Linkin Park thing. This is really great in the vocals.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tell me what you want me to be.
That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. And if you're interested in the Beato book, you can go to my website at www.rickbeato.com and find it there. Thanks for watching.